What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning into another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Sunday night. Hope you had a fantastic weekend, but we're here, we're live, and it's time to talk some birds. So I appreciate you all taking the time here, hitting that like button, sharing. I can't even talk all day. It has been pure madness here, and well, we've got birthdays and we've got anniversaries and we've got Mother's Day, all kinds of fun things coming up next week. So been pure chaos for me. Hopefully you've all been having a good weekend, enjoyable, some nice weather, some not so. But look, the Eagles, obviously, all kinds of new rookies, undrafted free agents, all kinds of stuff going on. Lots of videos out there. Go check them out. But here tonight, we're going to recap some of these things, talk about what happened at rookie minicamp on Friday and Saturday, talk about a player that was signed, and then some other stuff that went down, some of the things being thrown around. You guys have anything else that's on your mind, you know I'd love to hear from you. And then, of course, I have all of the new jersey numbers. And just remember, before you go buying any of these jerseys, these numbers are subject to change. And, there's 90 guys throughout the offseason. Once players get cut, things like that happen, different numbers become available to some of these guys. So we shall see, but I know some people get worked up about that stuff. No need. But let's start talking about some Eagles, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you have, again, on your mind, you could throw in there. But we're going to start it off with Jordan Davis. So earlier in the week, he got his fifth-year option exercised, and that's $12.9 million for next season. So when you are a first-round pick, and you have, those 4 years, that fifth-year option is like an average of all these different things. And there's breakdowns if you want to go check those out on my channel. But it just locks him up for another year. And the number it puts him at, I believe it was like 19th out of the defensive tackles out there. And look, he's worth it. When we talk about it, he doesn't get stats, this, that, the other thing. You have to understand he is a nose tackle. He's a big boy, and he's, there to stop the run, take on multiple, blockers there, and open so much space, take up all those gaps, that two-gap run stopper we talk about. And he is just a beast. And he got that sack in the Super Bowl, right? But it's not about stats for him. And you just talk about his impact, what this defense was able to do. It's worth it. So very happy to see that. And we talk about it, sometimes you do that to lock them up. Sometimes you allow them, to become free agents, and, maybe you try to give them a different deal, this, that, the other thing. But this is what went down. They lock him up. And hey, for me, you guys know how much I love Jordan Davis. And I talked about his importance in a Vic Fangio defense, having a guy like him and having, the best nose tackle. And I know he doesn't get a lot of praise because of, the lack of stats. But I think those of you sickos who follow along here, you understand why he's so good and what he has done for this team. And obviously the pieces around him, it allows them to really shine as well. And, it is what it is. People can say what they want. I'm very excited about the move and really would love to keep most of these young guys together. We have a very young team right now. We talk about building a foundation for this dynasty we've been talking about. So we got the first Super Bowl win, right? Nina in the building. I know you've been hearing me. I've been talking about it for a long time. Since, at this time last year, we talked about what a great draft. The free agents we talked about, right? And we talked about winning that Super Bowl and starting something special in the city of Philadelphia. And I think that is what is brewing right here. And the way we drafted, the way you get these pieces that are here for the future, right? And you didn't have to get guys that needed to start right away. You didn't have to do anything. And I try to stress that going into this draft that, we don't have to do anything. We are set. And yeah, we lost some players in free agency, but we added a lot of guys too. So that's something that we were well aware of, and we were ready for that draft. And the draft, I thought, I gave it an A. And you can go check that breakdown. You can go check out all the breakdowns, undrafted free agents, tryouts, all that stuff. It's out there. But Nina, appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed that draft. Hope you have enjoyed all the content. Dre, let's effing go, my man. Hope you're doing well here. Really feeling the vibes, man. Happy that we're live here tonight. It's been a crazy, just past couple months with the draft stuff and work and everything, just all over the place. So it's been pretty wild. But hey, man, I'm ready to rock and roll. Hope you guys are too. And yes, I did see that. That was my bread and butter. I was excited as soon as I saw that one. I was like, oh shit! I was at work, I remember, and I was like, as soon as I get home, I'm watching this, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty awesome, to see Howie doing his thing, and I, always loved watching those guys. And I actually ended up watching some of my live stream, trying to find something earlier, and if you guys saw, it was one we were trying to trade up, and I talked about Jihaad Campbell. Stop saying Jihad. Jihaad Campbell, son of a bitch. I think, crazy that we got him, but the fact that we were trying to trade up, 10 spots to get him. And we talked about in the video, and Herschel's barking, and, I made the joke that was Herschel's pick. That's who he thought we were trading up for, because that's what I was talking about. He wouldn't shut up. So, but, that's really cool to see them on the phones and watching teams, how we talked about it during that live stream. These teams don't want to trade with us. They don't want to answer. And sometimes it's because other teams are stupid enough to give them, these really crazy trades, or, it's just they don't want to talk to the Eagles. They don't want to get fleeced or help us. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I get it. I wouldn't. But we're building something regardless, baby. And we still got Jihaad Campbell at 31. So thank you, NFL. Say we need 2 more players, cornerback, defense, man. No doubt, man. But this team, obviously, so many players at every position, and that is the, point of the offseason. You got these players that are all vying for a job on that 53-man roster, and, we're going to take a look at all these different players, and you're going to see the updated depth chart with every single player on this roster. So you're going to know what the battles are, where you guys think. You guys can tell me where you think maybe we need to add. You see Eric where he thinks. So one thing I know people are asking about, I want to jump into this quick before we look at that stuff, but I'll get right back to that. Jihaad Campbell here, we know that he had shoulder surgery. That was in March. So no reason. You already see people, I had people commenting on my videos the other day talking about, we made the worst pick. Why would we do this? And it's like, holy shit, dude. We know this is why he fell a little bit, but it's still crazy because we have a medical staff that will tell us, okay, this kid's going to be good for the future. Here's the thing. He and Nakobe Dean banged up. Maybe they both don't start the year. I don't care. I want the future. He and Zach Bond, and we'll see what happens with Nakobe, man, because that's crazy. I love Nakobe, and I think he'll be starting once healthy, but, that gives you time to develop Jihaad Campbell and use him as a weapon all over the place. And, I'm looking forward to watching this young man. But you've got other guys there. Trotter Jr. is there. You brought in Smile Munden. You have Dallas Gant there competing. So, you got competition. We'll find out what happens. But he'll be all right, man. No reason to freak out. We knew that he'd be a little banged up, probably not participating in camp. So that's what it is. He was there. You see him in his jersey. 30 is the number. He used to wear that before 11 at Alabama. So he's familiar with the number. I know it probably looks weird on a linebacker, but we will get to all the numbers. And again, these can change. Now, the other notes you see here, Marcus Tate, one of the tryouts from Clemson, probably not great for him. His chances of being signed on a tryout if he is watching from the sideline. So very unfortunate for that young man. But you can see down here who they had in drills starting on the offensive line. So Miles Hinton, the draft pick, he was starting at left tackle. You had Cam Williams, the other draft pick, at right tackle. Drew Kendall, the center that we drafted, he was the center. But I also saw that he was playing guard at one point, right guard. I'm down for competition there. Let's effing go. But you had Lakin Bakahali there at left guard, and then Holland Pierce, the undrafted kid, at right guard. So we talked about him when we signed him, having that position versatility. So good to see, these kids. Stout's going to have them all over the place, finding out who can survive here at Stout University. So that's going on there with those notes. We did sign one of these tryouts, and that was Giles Jackson. We waived Tyrion Davis-Price as well. We talked about, we'll look at the list of running backs. We talked about that earlier. Gave you his bio, his stats, broke down his game. You can go check that video out. I see a lot of you did. Appreciate you guys taking the time there, but excited for Giles Jackson. Wish him the best. But here was the full list. So Giles Jackson was one name out of all of these players that was actually signed. So we talk about this, it's a tryout. This is, they're going to have to try to make this off-season roster even. A lot of people get excited, but it's like, hey, man, they got to make it through here. And I think Malik Carr, we can all agree, was someone we were all really hoping Eagles would sign. I think he was working out with someone else. Can't remember who it was. But regardless, you have time. You could sign these kids. And a lot of people were at Eagles camp here. So, look, hoping for the opportunity for Malik Carr to play here. If not, best of luck to him. But a lot of wide receivers there, a few tight ends, offensive linemen, a running back. You had a punter and a long snapper, and then a bunch of defensive players. You could see a few edge guys, defensive linemen. I know Kyman Rucker, somebody we talked about, excited to see if he could possibly make this offseason roster. Wyatt Eckler, Austin's little brother, was here. So, yeah, man, I think I'd like to wish I was there so I could see what was actually going down. But these were the players that were there. And then here is the list of guys that were there that were undrafted free agents. And now, remember, Giles Jackson was just added. I put him on here. But you had Montrell Johnson, Shunderick Powell. Those are the two running backs we have on this roster for the offseason. Then you had Darius Cooper and Giles Jackson with Taylor Moore in there as your wide receivers. Holland Pierce, who we just talked about, playing guard, someone that played tackle at Rutgers. But, Stout, he's going to be using these guys. Then on the defensive side of the ball, you got B.J. Mays, the cornerback out of Texas A&M. We talked about his game the other day. You can go check he and the other tryouts and undrafted videos are out there. Dixon, Hook, Brandon Johnson. I'm excited to see what these young guys got, and we'll add that opportunity this offseason as they are undrafted free agent signings. I know a lot of people were asking where certain players were on these lists. These are the ones that are actually signed on the roster. Those other ones we're just trying out. So that's what we've got with the tryouts, undrafted guys, what's going on with this team. Now, I know a lot of you always want to know these jersey numbers, so I compiled a list, and it was actually way more annoying, I feel, this year than usual. I was just like, holy a lot of numbers coming your way, so let's take a gander at them. So on the left here, you can see that these are the players that we signed, traded for. These are the new numbers that they have. Then you have the rookies there, the draft picks, I guess I should have put, and then the undrafted free agents, and then you have those that were changed numbers or the reserve futures signings. So, holy hell. Starting off with those signed players. Adoree Jackson with 8. Ooh, okay. Uche with 13. DTR with 14. Avery Williams, the return specialist, getting 18. Dylan, 29. Terrace Marshall, 46. That is horrendous. You see Ojolari with 52. I like that. The lineman getting in the 70s. Granson, 83. Brian, 85. No doubt. The rookies. Kyle McCord rocking 19. Ooh, I'm sure he'll try to change that if a number becomes available. Mac McWilliams, 22. I like that. That's sharp. Makuba. I'm a fan of 24 on him as well. I like those numbers. Campbell, he wore the number. He likes it, no doubt. Smile Mundit, 42. All right, linebackers wearing that. That's all right. Drew Kendall, he's 66 there. Cam Williams and Hinton, you got 73, 78, no doubt. Powell Ryland getting 93, and then Ty Robinson, I like that 95 on him. Let's effing go. Undrafted kids. Now, these ones, you'll see multiple numbers. I didn't mess it up. It's just on offense and defense, multiple numbers will be worn. The Eagles like to retire 700 numbers and then have other numbers they just don't give out, so they run out of numbers. And, well, as you can see here, you got guys like Cooper and Dixon both wearing 41. But you see the backs, the safeties, the linebackers, wide receivers wearing some horrendous numbers. Giles Jackson most recently signed wearing 42. Hey, BJ Mays 49 in the corner. That is I'm with you guys that don't like that. So I too find it weird. It's all right. I don't care what they're wearing if they have to wear it, but no doubt. Now you can see Dotson changed to number 2. Kaylee, which obviously was worn by Slay. Then you have Kaylee Ringo rocking number 7, switch from 22, which somebody else picked up there. Mac McWilliams, no doubt. Perry Nickerson rocking 34. Van Sumeren switched from 57, which was then given to someone else, and I don't remember who that was. Dallas Gann, the other backup linebacker. Okay. But Van Sumeren, 43. Now the fullback, they're listing him as. Okay, I'm with it. But Latu, 49. Gann, as mentioned there. Keegan, 77. Danny Gray rocking the 80. And then Cooks wearing 86. So you can see all of those numbers there. And there were tryouts. So look, I wasn't going to look up every tryout and try to give you all the numbers after that. So if you want to pause this, you want to zoom in, you want to do whatever you feel, but these are the guys. The other ones are listed too, but you can find those tryouts if you're looking for them. Here's 2 to 42 or 43, it looks like, actually, if you are interested in taking a gander at that. And then the rest of the numbers here, as you can see. So, yeah, again, those are the numbers, but any number you needed to know, that players that were signed, anything like that, that was on that list that I just showed you. So one more time, you want to pause this, look at it. It's listed with the players that were signed and traded, the rookie draft picks, the undrafted free agents, and then the players that changed numbers or were the reserve future signings. So those are all your numbers. Now let's take a look at where these guys are. So, as mentioned by Eric there, he's talking about cornerback, talking about defensive end, needing some competition. So we'll get into the defense here, but do you feel anywhere on offense? Some people are upset about Tyrion Davis-Price. Do you think we need any depth here? And we talked about this offseason. We just needed to find some depth pieces, and I think we did that. At quarterback, you got DTR and McCord competing for that QB3 spot. I love that. Running back, you got Tillin, Nichols, Powell, Johnson. So there's competition there. I love Shipley as Barkley's backup or however things shake up. Van Sumeren back as a fullback. Love that. Love that re-signing there. Wide receiver, best trio in the game. Definitely the best duo. But you got Johnny Wilson and Nye Smith. Can they continue their development? Signed Terrace Marshall. You got Gray and Cooks, who were reserve future signings. You talked about Danny Gray last year. My excitement last year when I talked about him. Would really like to see what he's got this offseason. But then, the undrafted kids, Giles, Jackson, Morin, and Cooper. And if you're wondering about the colors, the code key is down there at the bottom. Then tight end. Look, we added Harrison, Bryan, and Granson. We had Latu and Muse added, the reserve future guys. So Jenkins and Calcaterra returning. Goddard still here. A lot of competition at tight end. We didn't look, into any of these young guys. None of the tryouts were signed. So looks like Goddard's here for his final year. We'll see what happens there, but I'm excited about that. Now, we'll see if Steen wants to win that right guard job, but Pryor, Kendall, Keegan, Kenyon Green, any of these guys want to try to get that job, they can. And open competition. I love it. I love that there's actual competition there. The rest of the line is, top of their game. Talk about all that depth we have there on the offensive line now. Actually have a backup center. So I love it, man. I love what they were able to do. I think, Hinton and Williams, I like the draft picks. Pierce here. A lot of competition, Pryor and Green, as mentioned, but Kendall Lamb as well, a swing tackle. So we've got competition abound here on the offensive side of the ball, and that gets me pretty excited, but I still think it's going to be one of the best offenses. You have Hurts and Barkley and Devontae, AJ, Goddard still here, and best offensive line regardless, probably, if, whoever ends up at right guard. So I feel pretty confident about the offense. You guys let me know how you feel about this offense. Would you add anyone to any of those positions? Where else would you look to add? Let me know how you feel. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's who it was. You are correct there, man. I think I said the same thing the other day, and one of you told me that. So, look, they blow. They took Trey Amos after the Commanders. But, yeah, man, hopefully he signs with us and not them. I like that kid. I like his upside. We talked about having that size. He's got to get that, find that violence, man. He's got to really, bring that out. And I think he could do that here in Philly. I would hope, he wouldn't break too easily, but you don't know. If you haven't seen that yet, I've seen it, like his runs are hard and stuff, but he's got to work on his blocking, some other things. If you get in the NFL, that size, I think there's hope and there's promise, and that's good enough as an undrafted kid, right? A tryout at this point. So I'd love to sign him. We'll see, but I'm sure the Commanders will probably get him, right? But I think we're great. Yeah, man, I think we look pretty great there. Good enough as long as we keep. Yeah, and I don't think we're getting rid of him. So I think we'll be all right there. But, yo, Chris, my man, hope you are doing well. Just went through, talked about some minicamp stuff, looked at the new numbers. I talked about JD and Jihaad Campbell, all that great stuff. And now we're taking a look at this updated depth chart here. You saw the offense. Now we're looking at the defense here. And you had mentioned on the D line, the edge, I think that we're pretty stacked there, to be honest with you. And I feel the same interior-wise. I thought Ty Robinson was the perfect addition, can help you as depth, at nose tackle. He can line up from 0 technique to 5. I really love the kid. I think that was a great draft pick. A Jomo here, ready to see him step up, and he might lose that job to Ty Robinson, which I'd be perfectly fine with. But you got Gabe Hall here, Thomas Booker, Byron Young. Let's effing go. I wasn't going to put any of these rookies as starters just yet. I want to see what they've got, so don't get upset about that. But on the edge here, I think Nolan Smith and Jalen Hunt are the future. Aziz Ojulari, if he's healthy, maybe he beats out Jalen Hunt. Jalen Hunt's still young, developing. Can't wait to see his future. But Joshua Uche here, I think in this system, he's going to shine. He's got a bright future too. I think people forget what kind of game he has here. What he played with the Patriots, got traded to the Chiefs and didn't do much, but he's got a lot of upside. The young kid, very excited about him. Patrick Johnson back, price up. We'll see what if we can trade him. But you got to wait till after June. It would make no sense to get rid of him now. It would cost us money. But I don't know that he makes this roster. We'll see if we can trade him. But Antoine Powell-Ryland, can he force Patrick Johnson out? Can he be that fifth guy? You got O'Shawn Mathis and KJ Henry back. So there is competition abound at the edge, and I actually like the competition we have. I know a lot of people sleep on these names or don't know who they are or whatever, but I like the chances of this defensive line continuing to dominate because we already had these guys in place for a reason. We were well aware of what was coming. So, yeah, man, the Eagles draft well. They get these pieces, developed and ready for when their time comes, and I'm ready to see who wants to step it up. But at linebacker, Nakobe Dean, we'll see if he gets healthy when he comes back or whatever. We'll find out. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. But Dean, we'll see when he comes back. But Jihaad Campbell, he is the future. Hopefully he is healthy and will be good to go with that knee and the shoulder injuries. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., though, can he continue to be a depth piece with Smile London there? Lance Dixon and Dallas Gant, some competition. So you've got, 7 guys. Well, 6 technically because Dean probably won't be competing this offseason. But, man, I'm pumped up. We're going to find out how quickly Campbell becomes the man next to Bond. But what do you do with Dean? What the hell is going to happen here? I don't know, but I love competition. I'm all about it. Then at linebacker or a cornerback, is Kaylee Ringo ready to step it up? I have no idea, but I hope he is. Now, Adoree Jackson, he was brought in to be that veteran guy. Can he take the job from Ringo? Can Eli Ricks surprise everyone, come out anywhere? I don't think so, but, can he stick around for his special teams and his versatility? Can that keep him as depth? But Mac McWilliams, I thought, was a great draft pick. Can back up Cooper DeJean. He can play at the same time as him. We can move Coop outside at times, do things. BJ Mays was added. Perry Nickerson, Castro Fields, Woods. All these guys are kind of more your nickel backs. So a lot of competition there. But outside corners, don't really have too much. So as Eric was saying, maybe you look to add an outside piece there. But for me, I think you actually are okay. But if you wanted to add someone, sure, go ahead. You want to try to trade for someone, one of these undrafted kids you want to add, more so an outside guy, that's fine. But when healthy, I think we're going to be all right. And I think if Kaylee Ringo can be the guy to step it up, hell yeah. Now, I think maybe you give him a chance first. So maybe you don't see any moves anytime soon. But if they don't feel comfortable with Jackson or Ringo, which I don't feel comfortable with Jackson being a starter, I'll be honest with you. But hopefully Ringo continues to develop and can be that guy. And then at safety, I don't have Makuba in just yet, but I think he could be the starter with Blankenship. But I also like Sidney Brown a lot. He was one of my top fits, just like Makuba was. So you've got 2 studs that I really enjoy, and I think Vic Fangio will find a way to use both of them. We'll find out which one more so and how soon that takes for Makuba to take over. But McCollum is here, Lewis Seen, Andre Sam, and then Maxon Hook and Brandon Johnson were at it as well. So you've got lots of effing competition here, man. I can't wait to see this offseason. It's going to be torturous waiting. And even in the special teams department, you added some guys that could be a punt returner and kick returner. You got guys that could do both. Yes. So Avery Williams is going to push Anaya Smith. You got a guy like Giles Jackson who can do both. You got guys like Taylor Morin who can do both. Will Shipley's here, Dotson, a kick returner, a punt returner. You've got some options here, and I'm all about competition, and we'll see who else they put back there. But a lot that we can look forward to this offseason, and these rookie minicamp tryouts that get you excited. Then it all kind of just fades away, and you're like, football, come back to me. But I will be making cap videos and defensive breakdowns and everything under the sun that you guys like to talk about the offseason, you sickos, and I'm all about it, man. I'm pumped up. So we'll be trying to stay sane, right, as much as we can throughout this offseason. He's going to have an opportunity. He is an undrafted free agent signing, and there's breakdowns of all of these kids. You guys want to go check those out, please feel free. Last thing, post-June 1st, trading guys from other teams are going to be good. I don't know what you're saying there, but June 1st, cuts are already decided. That's Bradbury and Slay. That money we talk about will come in after that, $6 million. But if you want to get rid of Huff, you can do that as well. I got a feeling out the Aziz. And, yeah, that's what we talk about, Chris. Don't get worked up about who I have at starter because we'll see who wants to prove it, man. And I think Aziz Ojulari, very talented. We talked about him even last year, as a trade candidate. I think the Giants weren't going to do that, but we talked about how nice it would be, and we got him. So hopefully he stays healthy, and appreciate you tuning in, Jay. Hope you are doing well, my man. Sure is, Bob. We're looking to get that trophy back, so I'm really excited about this offseason. Kaylee believes, yeah, and look, man, he has shown at times when he stepped in, he has the tools, and he's also shown at times he needs some work, but that's okay. He's still very young, and I'm excited for his future. And look, you've seen it from Eli Ricks, and I think, he's shown with his versatility. That's why he is stuck around. And we talked about it last year. A lot of people didn't have him making the team. And, I did for the fact that he is dependable. So I like the kid, but I don't know that they're going to be like, yep, that's who's going to be the starter unless he blows us out of the water, which I'm all about, baby. But we'll find out this offseason. Love Herschel, you mean? Yeah, and he is nuts, dude. And he has his name is Herschel, though, but he definitely is a nut job. And his times where he likes to interrupt me, I try to make fun of it, as much fun as I possibly can. But I'm excited for this offseason. Hope you guys are as well. I got to get rolling out here. Want to make sure get some of these things done. I got work at 5 a.m. tomorrow. Comes way too early. So say a little prayer for me. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you guys have any further thoughts, any questions, you want to see anything again, you're always free to rewind. And all those videos I talked about, you can go check out on the undrafted guys, all the breakdowns. Here are the new numbers again for all of the players, and you can see them listed as to how they were added to the team or to change their number, whatever it may be. Those are all of those. And everything else that we talk about. Really enjoyed the time tonight. Thank you all for taking the time. If you're watching this later, you want to throw something in here, I'm always down to talk some birds. But I hope you all had a great weekend. Hopefully you have a great week coming your way. Don't forget Mother's Day is coming. But look, man, I love you guys. Can't thank you enough for tuning in here. Appreciate you hitting the like button, sharing this stuff, subscribing, all that stuff. It means the world. It does, and it helps. And I cannot thank you enough for that. Those of you who do take the time to just click that button. I know it's annoying. I really hate it, but it does help. I cannot. Trades. Yeah, man. You'll have, there's cut downs is probably what you're talking about. Post June 1st, you already know who those players are. They've mostly signed other places. But during the offseason, when you have your cut downs, players will sign on other teams. So we'll get excited for that when that time comes. But, dude, appreciate you all. I love you all. Have yourselves a great rest of your night, great rest of your weekend here. And thank you, man. I enjoy this stuff. Love it. Gets crazy sometimes with all the work and family and everything else going on in life. But I love it. I'm a true sicko, just like each and every one of you tuning in here. So I know you love this stuff. I'll do as much as I can to keep you up to date with everything happening, keep you entertained, keep you, with as much knowledge as you possibly need to know about this team heading into this next season where we're going to go back-to-back, get that trophy, build that dynasty. Let's effing go Birds. But all I've got for you here, if you need anything, doesn't have to be about the Birds. I'm always here for you guys as you are for me. Love each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your night. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. You all stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Birds!